Yo! So in this episode I want to show you guys how to do a headlight correction with different techniques. So check it out. So there's two different kind of headlight damages. If you can look at this style of damages, these are the a bit more severe one that you can see very deep kind of cracking on the headlights. You can see like the surface oxidation on this area is more hazy, and on this area the original clear coat on the headlight itself is cracking. On the other side you can see lighter version of the other headlight. This one is also oxidation, but the clear coat is not cracking so severely, but there is still a lot of damages already on the headlight. So we are going to do a few different techniques to restore this condition. Here also I have masked the surround of the headlights just to prevent any damages to the paint, because I'm going to do some aggressive correction, and also I'm going to show you guys some sanding techniques also. So check it out. Alright, so I'm going to try this small section with the most common method that is found on the internet and also online, where people has been talking about, which is toothpaste. So this is toothpaste. I'm just gonna spread it first, then I'll use a cloth. So yeah, according to the internet tutorials, you just need to spread the toothpaste. Spread the toothpaste. Spread the toothpaste and use a rag. Use a rag to just rub and try to polish the area by hand. I guess this technique is one of the most basic ones. I highly doubt that it will correct a lot of the oxidation, but it might help a little bit because of the grains inside the toothpaste. So it might have a little bit of effect, I guess. So it's getting a bit dry, so I think I'm gonna just continue and maybe apply a little bit of water. No, I think I'm gonna just continue to polish until it clears off, then we see what happens, right? So it seems to have cleared off some oxidation. I'm just going to use a little bit of clean water just to wipe off the excess of the toothpaste and see what happens. Alright, so I'm wiping off the excess of the toothpaste with a bit of water. It's the same cloth, but it will work. So it seems like the toothpaste method actually removed some oxidation on the top section here, but it's not perfect. So it seems like the toothpaste method has removed some lighter oxidation on the top section here, but from the naked eye you can still see a lot of scratches on top of the lens. But if you're looking for a quick fix, an easy quick fix, this could be a method that you can explore, but I believe the oxidation will probably be back in a very short time. So moving to this section, I'll be using polishing compound, aggressive polishing compound, using the same method but with an aggressive polishing compound. Alright, so I've spreaded the polishing compound This one is usually, this compound combination is usually used for extreme orange meal removals, but because given the situation, the heavy scratches and the clear coat cracking, I thought it would be perfect to use this with a manual hand polishing method. So the same thing we'll be using by hand. I like to run in circular motions. Just rub the area down, and when you're using manual hand polishing techniques, you basically just hope for the best, because there's just limited amount of things that you can do by hand on the polishing side. So I'm just gonna rub until everything clears, and then wipe down the area again with clean water and see what kind of results I get from the heavy cutting compound. So from the heavy cutting compound, the condition is slightly better than the toothpaste, but we can still see visible swirls. But I think from the camera you can see that it's way clearer. So just to give you a rough example, check this out. You can actually see the masking tape line. This is toothpaste, this is aggressive cutting compound, and this is nothing has been done. So you can actually see that haziness in the line there. So for this area, I'll be using the polishing machine with the same combination of compound that I use here, since it's so damaged. So I'm going to use the same combination of compound bit, but the difference will be I'm using a machine. So as you can see from the results here with machine, with hand, with toothpaste, you can actually see major differences. So basically with this experiment, where we can know that with machine polishing, the results will be much better. You can actually restore the surface to a more cleaner and clearer transparency compared to the map by hand, which also is very temporary, and with the toothpaste is really light. So I wouldn't recommend using the toothpaste if your headlights are anything like this condition. So on this side, as you can see, the oxidation is way more severe on this side. I'll be using some manual hand sanding and polishing, machine sanding and machine polishing, and this area I will do the proper headlight restoration. So with a sanding block and 1005 grit sandpaper, I like to start with 1005 because although there's not much cutting, but it's the safest method. So I'm going to use the manual sanding method to just try a little spot here so that I can give you a rough comparison. And during this type of sanding, I will usually go on one flow motion until I see that it's smooth. Then only I will change the direction to the opposite direction. So like now you can see me going left and right. And you can see that there's some yellow color and dark colored gunk coming out. Those are the oxidation. And usually you need to add more water when it comes to manual sanding. But of course you need to get sandpaper that is suitable wet sanding in the first place. If not, most of the wood usage kind of sandpapers would just tear. So these are for automotive use. So basically, just without any energy, just lightly sand. And you are just actually guiding the sanding block instead of putting a lot of pressure in. You don't need to put a lot of pressure in because the sandpaper will do its work. So after you see me doing left and right, I will go up down. I'll go on an up down motion just to even off the sanding marks. So with this method that I'm doing here, most of the providers that do headlight restoration would be using this method, but it's slightly more effective than manual polishing and just polishing the headlight with the compound and not sanding. It's slightly more effective, but at the same time, it doesn't give that flawless finish. So because we are doing a restoration, not a half restoration, so we would usually try to achieve the best results instead of doing a half plastics job. I'm just going to wipe off, dry off the surface just to check a bit. Okay, usually you will see it turn a little bit hazy and cloudy, which is perfectly normal. This is not really perfect yet, but so for the sake of comparison, I'm just going to leave it like this and then do the manual hand polishing, and then you can see what does sanding and manual sanding and manual polishing do to the headlight. Similar, I will be using the same heavy cutting compound because these are sanding scratches. So sanding marks will require a very heavy cutting compound to remove. So this is the same compound that I used earlier just now on the other side. So same thing, circular motion. In many situations like this, if you use a manual sanding and then after that you follow it with a manual polishing, you will see that the surface actually clears up. But if you shine a light, LED light onto the surface, the existing sanding scratches are actually still there. So basically, this method will not really work with manual hand sanding. As you can see here, I actually removed the haze, but actually if you look closer, check this out, if you look closer, there is still kind of a haze there. Right, I'm using a Merca sanding disc with my dual action polisher. This is the Merca Abralon 2000. So I'm using a 2000 because I'm using a machine and it's slightly safer to use a higher grit so you don't damage it too severe. So of course I did wet the sanding disc. This sanding disc has a thin sponge here, so it gives you a cushion, and then also it absorbs the water also. So I'm just going to do a slight sanding with the machine here, and you can see how it looks. So after the sanding, I can determine that okay, some of these areas are way more severe than I anticipated. So the 2000 is not really gonna cut, and anyways, I'm just going to continue the sanding, and then you will see how it looks. Alright guys, so after the sanding, the surface of the headlights are actually way worse than I anticipated. It requires way more cutting than usual because of the severity of the cracks and all. So I actually consulted a specialist, and they actually recommend to sand from 800, but I'm a little bit scared to sand at 800, so I'm just going to use the 2000 and sand the entire headlight, and we will see how it might take a while, but better to be safe than sorry, right? So I'm just going to remove the lines, and I'm just going to sand the entire headlight so you can get an idea of how the overall finish will look like instead of just one small section. Because sanding this small section will waste more time, so instead of just sanding the small section, I'll sand the entire headlight and show you the overall finish of what sanding on the headlights would look like. Yo guys, so I've been polishing for a while, and I think some are quite deep, the scratches, so I don't think the 2000 grit sanding disc would be able to cut through this. So I think I'm gonna have to go to a more aggressive approach towards this headlight. The other side is not that bad, but this side is that bad. So I am unable to purchase those kind of aggressive sandpaper, those the grit that is suitable for this job at the moment, because most of the shops are closing and the rush hour is starting. So I'm just going to polish off this sanding marks, and we shall continue this episode another day when I have the suitable sanding paper for the headlight. So as of now, it will look something like this. There's a little bit of oxidation still remaining. There's some cracks and all. So I really want to restore this headlight to as new as possible, but at the moment I don't have the proper sandpaper for this. So I'm just going to continue this another day, and I'm just going to end the vlog here for the headlight restoration. And if I am able to get the sandpaper soon, then I will do a part 2 on this headlight restoration and show you guys step 1 from the sanding until the ending. So see you guys soon. Like, share and subscribe if you like the video, and see you guys soon.